Hey everyone, my name is Maggie Umberger, and I'm a mindful movement specialist dedicated to helping you feel good, build strength, and unlock your potential. I wanted to take a minute to share with you why I built this membership. Like, what is it all about? But beneath the logistics, the nitty gritty of what's in the membership, I wanted to share with you the context of where it comes from, why it is shaped the way that it is, and why I built it. So, a little bit about my story. I used to only teach group fitness classes and I used to only take group fitness classes, and I loved them. I got so much fulfillment from them, and I still do, and I still coach them from time to time. So, the energy you can get, the camaraderie that's built in a group fitness atmosphere is just unparalleled. And so, even when I got a certification to do personal training, I didn't really intend to use it. It was more just as the background to have in case, but I didn't really see a need for it. And then I was in a car accident, and it was not super severe, but it did land me in PT for 8 weeks. And then even after those 8 weeks, I had residual hip pain. Things would flare up. My low back would fire up, and I didn't know why. And I would just continue to go to group classes, but I didn't know what I needed and what my specific protocol really should be, so that I could do what I needed to do in a group atmosphere. And I think a lot of people can, and I think that's great. And if you go to a PT who gives you exactly what you need, then you know what you need. But we are complex and unique individuals, and sometimes that won't always cut it. I ended up having to take a little bit of a step back and do more of my own thing, finding the ways that were going to work for me, especially after having one inciting injury and then the layers of compensation that were added after that. There were a lot of things I needed to and wanted to work on. And so I started doing more of my own thing, especially on my yoga mat. I started doing more of my own practice because a traditional vinyasa or power practice was a very hit or miss experience for me. And so that was like the first foray into doing things solo. And then I had an impact I did not foresee occurring. Instead of it being the necessity, it became something I craved. It became something that was the opportunity to explore, to do things differently, to think outside the box. I don't necessarily think that we all need to spend a ton of time experimenting and creating on our own. But when we step outside of the group atmosphere, which can be go, 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 and it is hard to not look left and right and see what others are doing. When we step out of that, we can think a little more critically and maybe creatively about how is it that I feel? What's showing up for me? What are the little subtle shifts I can make to change X, Y, and Z? And then COVID happened. I already had this vision in my mind of a library of classes. I had already built a website and a platform, and that was the natural order of operations to explore this a little further. And then what I saw is that you all, other members, people, really enjoyed taking class at their own pace and having it as that back pocket resource. So this membership and where it is today and where I hope it goes from here, where I hope we grow together, is that back pocket resource for sure, where you'll have classes of all different lengths. And another time I'll explain all those little nitty gritty benefits that you get for being a part of the membership. But you've got that in your back pocket, and it's always going to be there because I know how life gets busy and things get in the way of whatever our best laid plans might be. And so to have a resource that you know and you trust is something that's really, really valuable to me. And then a layer beneath that is really where my personal passion and joy comes in. And it's this element of thinking differently about movement. I like to think about going to work, like walking to work, taking the same path that you walk to work every day can get really monotonous. Or there might be a traffic jam one day and you literally can't walk that path. It's beneficial and more enjoyable to have different routes to take to get where you're going, or maybe you decide to ditch work that day and go somewhere else. It's important to have different routes to take to give us more movement options, which can help us find more joy and find more nuance and uniqueness in our own movement practice. It's a little harder to get bored, but that doesn't mean we have to reinvent the wheel every single time. So you know that I'm in the background spending those 2 hours on my mat or at the gym, playing around with things, seeing how a different cue lands to see if it can help you uncover something different. Maybe it's an aha moment, or maybe it's just like a little nugget of something you want to tuck away and keep with you for another time. So really this platform that is the library is also interlaced with mini workshops and our live practices where we can get into some of that exploration and to try moving in different ways, and sometimes to see how we move on our mats mirrors something that occurs in a gym setting or out on a run. Like, our bodies are very, very fascinating. And the more languages and the more dialects that we can start to connect and understand and use in our own practice, the more cohesive the communication is going to be. So that's the platform. That's where I have landed and where I am continuing to go, and where I hope we continue to grow together, because I know we're always evolving, and what we needed last year may not be what we need this year or even yesterday versus today. So if this resonates with you, then feel free to explore the membership on my website. It's got a ton of classes. You can explore the library now. And when enrollment opens, you'll get a note from me to share with you a little bit more of the nitty-gritty details of everything that you can expect from this back pocket resource that helps you feel good and gives you more movement options and helps you build strength and ultimately helps you unlock your potential. So I look forward to seeing you on the mat soon.